All right, guys, Fula with another commentary video. I'm going to go over some things in this video, of course. On Clubhouse for sure, there's the diaspora wars and there's also the gender wars. You know what I mean? For better or for worse, I was dragged into both of them. It's not by choice, but it just happened that I got dragged into both. So what happened was, I was getting my points across about the Pookies and the Ray Rays and stuff like that. And, I was called an incel many times. So then I asked myself, and although it's, how should I put it? It's, what do I want to say? It's online. You're not going to meet these people in your life, more or less. So you don't know these people and stuff like that. But then I just examined and I asked myself, am I an incel or am I a nigga who just rather put his energy towards doing what he has to do in order to make a better life for his family back in Africa, and just to make a better life for him to enjoy the comforts of life, those comforts being like a Rolls Royce Wraith, multiple assets, the ability to help others, what I mean? Like, and what I mean by help others, like do constructive things back home in my country of origin, and that kind of stuff. So I examined myself and I realized that, like, I had to sit back and realize that, like, that would expend a lot of energy to, go out on the town, pursue females, and in doing that, and also, using dating apps would expend a lot of energy. And then I asked myself, okay, well, this energy could be spent on reading, you know what I mean? Like reading books, learning new skills, and just preparing for whatever comes ahead, right? Because, you have an idea of how you want your relationship to be like. I have an idea about how I want my relationship to be like. I have an idea about how I have what I want marriage to be like for me. And unfortunately, like, Western women won't be able to fulfill that for me. You know what I mean? Because of their ways that I'm about to show you. Now, I kind of compare it to the marathon mindset of Nipsey Hussle. The thing is that with Nipsey, he had a major deal at first. The major deal didn't work out. It fell through. He went the indie route and had major success. He signed a mix. He sold a mixtape at $100, and then he messed around and sold a mixtape at $1,000. Right? He tried new ideas that were never even done before in the music industry. Mind you, these aren't albums, these were mixtapes. Now, he was looking for a certain type of deal. He was looking for distribution. He was not looking for your typical deal where you just sign on the dotted line, you get the advance, and then boom. You pay the advance back from your album sales. hopefully, right? But he held out until he did get his partnership, right? And so I don't see a problem in me holding out until I get the partnership I want with a woman. And unfortunately, I'm going to show you why it won't happen in the West. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. Let's go here. Okay, let's see. Just give me a moment. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So if you guys don't know her, this is Vivica Fox. She's a actress. She starred in movies like Independence Day. I think she was in Booty Call. I also believe she was in what else was she in? There's Booty Call, Independence Day. Oh, she had a little cameo on Kill Bill as well. She was in that movie too. Well, let's listen to what she has to say real quick.
I'm 57. I got 6 god babies. Don't think that because I didn't birth children, that I don't have children. I have 6 godchildren, and I do not feel less fulfilled. I'm 57. I got 6 god babies. Don't think that because I didn't birth children, that I don't have children.
So what happened with her is she's age 57, 6 god babies, no children of her own.
I have 6 godchildren, and I do not feel less fulfilled as a woman, period. All I got to do is spend an afternoon.
Okay, so she says she doesn't feel less fulfilled as a woman. Then, I mean, why do you have to mention that, you didn't birth children if you don't feel less fulfilled as a woman? And I mean, the reason why I'm showing this is because, like, you would think that with her being in Hollywood, that she would have the creme de la creme choices. Because, I mean, her choices aren't limited to, like, actors, so to say. Her choices can be, a variety of high earning people. It can be like, guys who are in the like stock market guys who own big companies and things like that. So why is she single at 57? You have to ask yourself these questions, why is it that she is?
Christmas pictures the other day, and I had them on the speed cycle. I was like, you come at 6:15, y'all come at 6:30, y'all come at 6:45. We're gonna be at CPK by 8:30 because I know they're gonna get tired by 9:30. And sure enough, like clockwork, they did. And at the end of the night, I was like, Gigi, love you bookers. Okay, I'll see you next time. All right. So, but I love children. Please do not get me wrong. I absolutely love children. In my life, it was career over children, and I never met.
I don't know about that because, like, again, like, I think you can do both. I think you can have a career and have children, like, depending on what career you have and also depending on how you organize yourself, I mean, of course, the priority would be children first, but I think, like, for example, if she's in Hollywood and she's doing movies, I'm pretty sure that she can basically take some, like, that whatever movie she's filming, she'll still be able to cater with the kids and maybe take the kids with her to see what she does, and expose them to those things in a safe way, though, not a crazy way.
A man that I can have children with. I didn't. I almost made that mistake. And 3 months before, my family was like, you will not. You absolutely will not. And lost a whole bunch of money in deposits and this, that, and the third. You will not.
Let's see.
Made that mistake. And 3 months before, my family was like, you.
Hold on.
I almost made that mistake. And 3 months before, my family was like, you will not. You.
So probably her family too is probably like a lot of single male women in the fam, or single women, I should say, in the family that, made sure that she remains single. Because again, I've said it in previous videos, single women keep women single most of the time.
Absolutely will not. And lost a whole bunch of money in deposits and this, that, and the third, but I trust my family. My family was like, no. And this one here, you gonna have to deal with him for 18 more years? Hell to no. No, ma'am, you're not gonna do that. So, but like I said, I have 6 godchildren that when God took away my opportunity to bear children, he said, my God, yeah.
So, was it God that took away your opportunity to have kids, or was it maybe your character, maybe how you conducted yourself that took away your ability to have kids? Do you think it was that instead of the way, the God saying, okay, I'm just gonna take your ability to have kids away? Like, just let me know, Okay, and now let's listen to a Western woman actually tell us how Western women operate. Let's listen to that. Let's listen to how a Western woman says, like, how Western women are.
Well, I just have 2 simple.
Okay, let's hear it.
So let me see if I have this straight. You put your career front and center. You choose the.
So the thing is, why aren't you married? That's why that's what it says. So that's why you're not married. She's answering people.
Bad boys over the good guys. You sleep around. So let me see if I have this straight. You put your career front and center.
Yeah.
You choose the bad boys over the good guys.
And now, I want to say that too, like, about myself. Like, I have a like torrid past that I'm rather quiet about since being in this country. I was exposed to things that, maybe I shouldn't have seen. And if I, wasn't sent by my family to this country, maybe I probably would have seen less in Africa, but I'm not the type to like brag about it and be braggadocious about the things that I was done with, like that I did in the past. But at the same time, I'm not like the simp type. You know what I mean? I actually, as a matter of fact, I actually snapped on a female on Instagram who was talking smart. You know what I mean?
You put your career front.
But I think what she means by bad boys is like the Pookie and Ray Ray and Chaz types who don't have a pot to piss in. So I ask myself again, okay, well, am I really an incel if, Pookie and Ray Ray and Chad put like energy in for these women, but don't have a pot to piss in? I ask myself, what position would I rather be in? Would I rather be in the position of having like 5 pots to piss in, right? Or be in the position of chasing women and trying to win them over and having no pots to piss in? I think the choice is pretty obvious.
Center, you choose the bad boys over the good guys. You sleep around, and
that they do, they do sleep around. Again, like I remember one time, I actually took a Uber and it's crazy because the woman, I was in the front seat of the Uber, and and then there was a couple in the back seat, and they straight out had sex in the car. They straight out had sex in the back seat. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, yeah, she's loose. You know what I mean? Like, very, very loose. Couldn't even wait to get to the house to have sex. You know what I mean?
You sleep around, and your expectations for what you think you deserve are off the charts.
And that's true too. I've had single mothers who have called themselves princesses and have called themselves queens. I've had single mothers who have said that, I'm gonna hold out for a beautiful black Christian man. And it's like, okay, woman, you're 2 kids in, and a man is not gonna like really like look at you as like a viable option. You know what I mean? That's just it, It's just it. That's just how it goes, That's just the way it falls. And it is unrealistic expectations. I mean, I can pull up many videos, like videos with women who actually are 3 kids in, and they don't want the dude to have kids,
Yeah, so that's why you're not married.
Why am I not married? Well, I just have 2 requirements. First one is you would have to sign a prenup, because whatever I built prior to the marriage is mine, and vice versa.
That's why I tell dudes, just get those civil marriages, okay? Where you just have a civil marriage, because if you have one of those civil marriages, then you won't be under any obligation if things don't go right. So I think that's the best thing for dudes is civil law marriages. Okay? If you must get married, get civil law marriages.
Whatever we built together, we will split if things do not work out. The second one is you would have to get a vasectomy, because I don't want children.
So, I mean, us guys, we want to carry our lineage most of the time. And, because, I mean, hey, if you raise a kid right, there's a potential that he or she will retire you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if I have like 3 kids and I see to it that they get into the best soccer academies in Europe, and one of those kids turns professional and is making like 300,000 pounds a week, don't you think he's going to be like, thank you, Dad, and cake me off? And don't you think I'm going to be proud of him for taking it that far?
And I'm so sorry, but no random female's gonna try to come sue me because you got caught slipping. So most times when I say the word vasectomy, people cop out.
You hear how goofy she sounds, right? So let's go ahead and look at one more thing. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. And this will be the last video.
Over here, but it's like
and I want to give you a disclaimer. This is not just about like Western Black women. This is about Western women, period. Western white women, Western Latin women, Western Asian women, and also the Western African or Caribbean women who have this mindset. You know what I mean? This is for them as well, you know. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Okay, let's dissect it. Okay. So here's I guess this is, I guess she is like maybe mixed. I don't know. I've never heard of her. I've never heard of like her. I guess maybe she's like maybe mixed with white and Asian or something. I have no idea what she is, but let's hear what she has to say. And the reason why I'm playing this video is because I think it aligns with my realistic expectations of marriage versus the Western Instagram painted image of marriage. But let's go.
Hello, friends and family. This is Megan Moon, aka 저는 미국 사람입니다. And I'm back again at the studio with a talking video for you, baby. You guys love the talking videos. I always feel like there's nothing here. I'm just sitting in front of the camera talking, but I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be chatting. Grab your tea, and let's get started. I got it on my lip, don't I? You didn't tell me I had the green on my lip. Let's go. Roll with it. So as we know, Korea is very different from my home country of the USA, America. And through marriage, I've also learned a little bit more about some differences that we have in the way that we view relationships and the way that we go about them, etc. So I thought I would talk today about some things that I learned from being married here in Korea. The very first thing that I learned was that marriage is duty. And it's quite different from like kind of what we see like in the Hollywood and in media.
And again, like I've been like that. I know from my parents' marriage that it's like a duty, you know. My parents, for example, they didn't show affection in front of us, but they also never argued. I never saw my mom or dad argue with one another. Hell, I don't even think my dad ever raised his voice at my mother. You know what I mean? That's how cohesive the marriage was. You know what I mean? But she knew her obligations and he knew his obligations.
Stuff, and I feel like kind of our view of marriage like in America is a bit more romanticized. It's like this romantical kind of Disney kind of fairy tale type thing that we like view with marriage. I feel like sometimes we lose a lot of the duty, and a lot of people in marriage just think about, you know, the things that they want to get. Like, I want to get married so I can get this and I can get that and I can have love and happiness and stuff like that. But I know.
And that's the one thing that Western women will try to do. They'll try to like put that like down your throat. They'll say actually, oh, I just want to get married so I can take romantic trips, so I can like you know what I mean, be spoiled, you know, be treated like a goddess and all this other kind of like jibber jabber stuff. And I'm not thinking along those lines, you know what I mean? And I guess like when you don't think along those lines, you're labeled as incel or whatever the case may be.
In a lot of Asian countries, like they view marriage as duty. Of course, you know, people love each other like when they get married, but there's more of an aspect on the things that you need to contribute and things that you need to do in the relationship to keep it afloat. And I notice when people think of marriage here, they think less about, okay, what am I going to be getting? Like, give to me. And there's less of this sort of entitled feeling for what you think you should be getting in marriage. And people tend to focus on how they can make it work and the things that they need to do within that marriage.
And that's how I am. Like, you know, that's how it would be. Like in a relationship, like the relationship will have to be like straight up. And like I find with the Wicked Witch of the West is the relationship is never straight up. One moment she's with you, the next moment she's searching for another guy. You know what I mean?
And one thing that I noticed is instead of people getting their happiness from what they're getting, like I'm happy when my partner's just doing this for me, or when I'm getting this love, or when I'm getting the things I feel like I'm entitled to get, is people feel more happiness in knowing that they fulfilled their duty in marriage. And I think that's something that's actually really nice because you can't really control what other people do, right? You can't control like if someone's going to do something for you that day, but you can control the things that you're doing. And I think when your happiness comes from a sense of fulfillment for doing the things that you're supposed to do to keep the marriage running, then I feel like that leads to much longer happiness as opposed to just what can I get, what can I get, what can I get. So let's compare like marriage to like a business or something, right? So for a business to run well, the employee should always be doing their job. If the boss said...
And marriage is like a business. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, for example, like in our traditional West African Islamic marriages, there's a marriage contract, you know what I mean? There's a dowry. And do you know that a woman, like Western women actually laugh about dowries? Do you know that they laugh at bride's prices? When a bride's price is just like a means of security? You know what I mean? A means to show that you are, you know, you're that you can take care of a woman. But yet they laugh at that. They laugh at bride's prices, which I never got, you know.
You know what? You can just work when you feel like it. And everyone only worked when they felt like it instead of what you have to do every day, then the business might not go so well. And so I feel like with marriage it's similar. Like you don't always feel like doing things that you're supposed to do all the time, but that's just kind of part of it. And this is just a very light example. It's the only thing that just kind of popped into my head right now. But this is not something that Moon said, I need you to get me my coffee every day. But it's just kind of something that I like to do in the morning is to make Mr. Moon coffee. Sometimes I don't feel like getting his cafe latte in the morning, but I know it makes him happy and it keeps our marriage going. And when he sees that I'm getting up to get him his cafe latte, even if I want to be sleeping in, it makes him happy too. It makes him want to keep doing things, you know, for me. So
as you see, like as guys, you know, like as guys who we don't really want much. You know what I mean? Like people will say like, oh, you guys demand too much without giving too much. And the reality is that like we will give if we're shown that we're appreciated even with the little things.
Just keep giving to each other and each other and each other, and we continue to like thrive in that way, right? It's not about what you want to do, it's what you have to do for the marriage, because once you get married, it's the marriage. You do things for the marriage, right? Of course, you can still do things like for yourself, but if those things are undermining the marriage, I mean, you probably shouldn't do it. And another thing that I noticed is those feelings of love tend to stay and continue to happen when both people are fulfilling their role and doing their duties in the marriage. Things work out that you put effort into. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it did. Take from it what you want. So you might be wondering what I've been drinking the whole time. If you've been following me for a while, then you know that this is the Teamy Green Superfood Powder. I've made videos about it before, and I've been drinking it for years. And what it is a Superfoods greens powder that has a lot of vegetables and healthy antioxidant-rich ingredients in it. And I personally use it just to increase the amount of veggies and superfoods that I have in my diet, especially when I'm on the go and running around and I can't like sit down and prepare like a broccoli meal or something. And it has really good ingredients. There's a lot of them, so I always have to read them. Reading glasses. Wheatgrass, spirulina, spinach powder.
Spirulina is good, by the way. It's a good little protein thing. You can mix spirulina with moringa, put it in a smoothie. You can also use baobab powder, put it in a smoothie, and that's a pretty good combination.
Broccoli powder, kale powder, kelp powder, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Of course, matcha as well, because the flavor is matcha. It is plant-based, and because of the matcha, it does contain some caffeine. And it's actually really nice to have in the morning in place of your coffee, because you do get a little caffeine from the matcha, but you also get a lot of vitamins and minerals from the superfood. And this is a serving size, just 1 scoop. So in this little tiny scoop, you're getting a lot of your needed greens for the day. To make it, I actually like to just put a scoop in water. You can add it in smoothies or whatever you want, but it tastes perfectly fine just in water. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. And the flavor just kind of tastes like a earthy green tea flavor. But if you love the flavor of matcha, then you'll definitely love the flavor of this. Sometimes I put it with ice cream and make like a green tea flavored superfood ice cream, which vanilla ice cream and this powder, okay? They're a match made in heaven. And if you would like to get a discount, you can use my code BOWEN20 for 20% off. All the information will be down below. So the next thing that I learned is that you should always want to be your best self and kind of always be upgrading and improving, like self-improving yourself. Self-improving yourself. How redundant was that? So what I mean is, like, for example, you know, I've had friends who were engaged and they both said, wow, since I'm engaged, this person wants to marry me. I should be my best self. Let me start going to the gym and eating healthy so we can live a long, healthy life together. And I could be like my fittest self because this person chose me, right? They're stuck with me. They can only be with me. So I need to always be my best self.
Now, when you look at this, you have to ask yourself this question. How many Western women are willing to do that? And also, how many Western women let's ask hypothetical question. Will a Western woman say, wow, you know, this is about to happen. Let me get good. Let me get physically right. Or because of the body positivity movement, will she say, oh, you have to take me how I am and just accept me. And if you don't accept me, you're body shaming me. Knowing that she wouldn't accept you if the shoe was on the other foot. Do you think that a Western woman will want to improve herself? Or do you think she will be as, take me how I am? What do you guys think? Let me know.
Remain healthy and fit, etc. As opposed to saying, well, we're married now, I don't have to go to the gym anymore. Like, that's not what you really want to do, right? You want to always be trying to be, you know, your best self and taking care of yourself, and not just, you know, for something like taking care of your body, but in terms of your personality and the things that you're learning and growing and maturing with as well. I know.
And, you know, that's why I can only see myself with a Muslim, and preferably a Muslim woman who is inclined to the science of tasawwuf. And basically the science of tasawwuf is spiritual purification. You know what I mean? The science of tasawwuf is basically like the science of being a good person, the science of like improving those good traits like patience, humility, what else? Hope, having hope, and also self-examination, you know. Tasawwuf can also mean like the purification of the heart as well.
Like for me, like after I got married, it kind of was a push. It made me be like, wow, okay, well, someone chose me and this person's only going to be with me. So I need to do the best that I can to be like upgrading and improving myself. And that's something that my husband does a lot as well. And I've noticed a lot of people around me doing that as well. And it's something that I think that it's quite beautiful. And I think when you have two people who are constantly working on themselves and wanting to do their best and be their best, then that naturally keeps the relationship going as well. A lot of people here think of marriage as kind of like something we need to work at together. It's not something that either just matches or doesn't, right?
And that's the thing, like when you ask the typical like Western woman about marriage and stuff like that, her idea of marriage is that a husband should just be, a husband should spoil her, treat her as a goddess, treat her as a queen, keeping her feet up, not really contributing much of anything to the marriage, you know what I mean? Like, just when you talk to Western women about marriage, it's just pretty much like you as the man are the ATM, and she is the recipient of the ATM. And unfortunately, with the Western woman too, she will like ration off sex too. Let's be honest, dudes, we have high sex drives, you know what I mean? But most of the time you'll find that these Western women won't acknowledge that, even in marriage, And me speaking, like, it could be like the African-ness in me, and the fact that I have like a collection of African herbs and spices that I use for my boxing endeavors. I'm probably gonna need sex like 4 times a day, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me, I don't know about anybody else, but that's just me.
Right, any good marriages that you've seen have a lot of work, and I feel like a lot of people tend to just kind of know that here, and it's kind of something that's more in the culture. So the next thing that I've kind of learned to do here is I've really learned to embrace the differences between men and women. I feel like sometimes in the West, we like to ignore that there are differences between men and women, but
And again, like, that's the thing, here's the thing about it, like, what I find with like a lot of Western women is that they like to have their cake and eat it too. As I've said before, what they like to do is, like, for example, so back to the body positivity movement, they like a woman who may be like not in shape and stuff like that feels like she's entitled to a dude who is in shape. But if a guy who is not in shape wants a woman who is in shape, then that guy is looked at as weird. That guy is looked at as unworthy and things like that. You know what I mean? But yet the feminism idea is that men and women are the same, and men and women are not the same. You know what I mean? We're that's just it. We're not the same. I'm going to say it again. We are not the same. Okay? So you guys can try to, and that's what Western women think. Like most of the time they think we're like the same. You know what I mean? So that's why you see them acting like what they think a man acts like. You know what I mean? Like that's why you have, I get my own money. I don't need no man. I'm independent. This, that, and the other. You know what I mean?
I feel like here in Korea, people understand that there are differences, and it doesn't mean that one is better than the other, but they don't demonize any characteristics that are inherently masculine or feminine. People allow for people to play to their strengths, especially in relationships, and I think that's something that's really nice. And the beauty of it is you're not necessarily bound to the expectations that people have of this is man and this is woman.
And that's one thing about the West is like, they have that thing. Basically, like for example, I'll give you a perfect example. A woman will try to tell you what a real man is, but it's like, okay, how can you tell us what a real man is and you're not even a man? You know what I mean? Like, how can you, like for me, I can't tell a woman what a real woman is or what a woman should be like. I'm not a woman. Okay? I can only tell about how I see my woman being. You know what I mean?
Society is not saying you must have traditional gender roles, but if you want to do that, people don't seem to demonize you, where I feel like sometimes in the West now, I was like that. Like, I remember when I was in high school about to go to college, I had a friend and all she wanted to do was just get married and have kids. And she wanted to have a lot of kids. So she did that right out of high school. And I remember kind of judging her like, ew, why would you do that? You have no ambitions. So then I kind of like really stopped talking to her because I thought, oh my God, what is that? Like, why would you just want to do that? And like live with a man who makes the money and do that? Like, be independent and have some ambition and stuff. Like, that was kind of how I used to think about women who wanted to do that. But one thing that Korea has taught me is that, everyone like chooses what they want to do. If a woman wants to take on a traditional role and that's what she wants to do, then we shouldn't tell her she's wrong for wanting to do that. I think we should be able to choose what we want to do, and people shouldn't look down on people who want to do those traditional roles in that way. I used to be one of those people who looked down on women like that as I was going to college, getting my degree that I'm not using at all. Not anymore, but and now that I'm married, I'm like, I needed no man, and now that I'm married, and now that I'm like that, as I was going to college, getting my degree that I'm not using at all, in debt, not anymore, but was in debt.
And that's the thing, like, that's what a lot of these women want. Like, a lot of these college women want a dude that's going to pay off their debt. That's what they want, most of the time. So that's why that's one of their main intentions in getting married. They're trying to get a dude to pay off their debts, their college debts. I'm talking about the ones who rub it in your face that, oh, I got a degree, I got a master's, I got this, I got that. And the thing is like, you'll never hear me mention my degree. You'll never hear, like, I don't usually argue with people. I'm not the type to like argue or anything like that. But I never mention my degree, bro. Like, it's a piece of paper showing that I can do things that I basically, as we say in the Arabic language, that I have ijazah to do this certain thing. And that means permission. That's all a degree is.
She ain't got no debt, and she got like 4 kids, and she's happy. I see her on Instagram. So, oh, and growing up too, like my parents were always like, yeah, be independent, do this, like, don't depend on no man, don't need no man. And now that I'm married, I'm like, I needed him. Where have you been, Mr. Moon?
See? She's telling you. Listen, man. Honestly, and I don't even swirl. I'm not really like the type to swirl. I'm not really the type to look out. But honestly, if she wasn't married and she was Muslim, I would marry this woman. Because she gets it. You know, like that's the thing. She gets it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Where have you been? Like, why didn't I meet you? You know, if I had met him when I was 22, he might not have liked me. Because Mr. Moon, my husband, he likes to feel, like, needed. And at that time, I was kind of, like, anti-anything. Like, I don't need no help from no man.
So she was on her feminism thing. But, alhamdulillah, she grew out of it. Which is good, growing out of that crap. It's a good thing she grew out of it.
Mr. Moon, he loves, like, carrying things and, like, doing things and just being helpful. And I think in the past, like, old Megan would have thought, like, oh, it's because he thinks I can't do it. I can do pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, 20 pounds strapped to me. I can do a pull-up. I don't need you to carry my bags. But yeah, now I'm like, yeah, I could do it. But one thing that I've noticed about men, one of those inherent traits that men have is they like to feel needed and to feel as though they're helpful and they're contributing is one of the things that drives them to want to do more and do better. So I noticed with Mr. Moon, I can get him to do more things, more chores by saying, oh yeah, I really need your help. The last time you did it so well. It was just so amazing. So he organized the whole pantry and I was like, yes, I can just not have to deal with those things because that's something that he just likes to do, like to feel helpful in those ways. And so I've kind of learned to just like accept like the help and know and understand that, a man stepping in to like help you or something is not saying because you can't do it or you're incompetent. I've noticed it's just something that they feel great like when they're helping their women and stuff like that. So yeah, I think if I had met Moon when I first came here, he wouldn't have liked me. So I'm kind of glad that it took this long for me to meet him. I met him when I was 28. Yeah, when I was 28, I was about to turn 29. That's when we met. So by that time, I had already learned it, and I was like, please, someone bring me a man. Anyway, I rambled on at the end, but I just thought that was something interesting, and I would just share a little way that I was able to like learn and grow, etc. So if you're interested in Team Ignorance, check it out. The link is.
So, as you see, I've come to the realization, after examining the dynamics that, the insults were just used because of the simple fact that I have an idea about the partnership that I want with a woman, and she practically explained it. She practically explained it like pretty well. So with that being said, again, my energy is not going to go towards like the pursuit of Western women. Again, like I'm just not going to do it. My energy will go towards my reading, my studying, and developing new skills, and of course the boxing, which is high on the list, like numero uno, basically. And, with the boxing will come more monetary gain. And with more monetary gain will come more assets. And with more assets will come my family back home being taken care of. And also a wife that will play her position and be part of my plan and not be combative, vindictive, using kids as collateral And also will come free of skeletons from her past. But anyhow, man, that's all I got. Just wanted to share that. Fula signing out. Leave your comments, like, and subscribe. Unjarama.